Good morning, Rob B here with you this morning, this eclipse day, which we're not going to see in Georgia because it's going to rain, and we're only going to see, I don't know, not much of it. I saw one back in, I guess, 63. I was 9 years, no, do I say 12 years old, maybe 11. We saw the total eclipse at one time. Been that long. But anyway, with sad news, I know that they reported they found Mark Nichols in the lake. And I'd just like to kind of do my tribute on Mark, aka Hobo Shoestring, 53 years old. And they said he's been missing since March 27. And he's a well-known YouTuber with over 200, no, more than that. I think he's got 200,000 subscribers, I believe, yeah, on YouTube. But anyway, we've been following Hobo many years, and I'm just thinking that, you know, some people say that he was a bad example for train hoppers or train riders, but the way I look at it, I think Mark was living his dream, and he's taken us to parts of the United States, like Alaska and all over, places that some of us will never even see. I mean, we'd love to go to Alaska and visit, but we'll never go. And other parts of the country, you know, I know I've driven a truck for over 1 million miles, coast to coast, and most of the time, when you're driving a truck or if you're on a train, and you're going to see the backside of the city, because the train tracks were built in the years when everything was on the backside of the buildings, and you see the old parts of the city. You may see some countryside, but for the most part, years ago, they were built to cover the warehouses and the backside. So that's where they are. And so, you know, I appreciate where Hobo's coming from, being somewhat of a nomad myself, driving a truck over the years. And also think, you know, a lot of people think, well, he should have been caught. Well, I think they could have caught him many times. Hobo could have been caught. In fact, he was locked up in Alaska. The Alaska Railroad didn't much care for him. Every time they got a chance to arrest him, they'd arrest him. But I think he was somewhat protected. He had a lot of people out there on the railroad that knew Hobo, and they turn a blind eye when they see him, you know, and just let him ride. And I can appreciate that too. There's a lot of riders out there doing what they do, but anyway, we know he had health issues, and it was declining, and God only knows how he survived out of the open as he did. But he showed us how to live without the convenience of home. And I remember when he was in a contest. He was out in Iowa, I forget what part, but he was in a Hobo King contest, and he almost won. We were rooting for him. We thought he should be the Hobo King. As many years, he'd been in the contest a few times, and this past time he was there, he should have won, but he was beat out by somebody else because the other hobos were voting. And so you can see that episode if you go back to some of his YouTube videos, and you can look and see when he was in the contest for Hobo. And so we remember one time when he got his new lake home, you know, being a nomad, he finally got him a place on a lake. I mean, a nice place where he could go fishing or walk out on his deck and see that lake in Johnson City. And Hobo, if you follow the compassionate side of Hobo, he loved his family. He didn't have much family, but he loved what he had. His nephews would come over and they'd have a good time. And he'd also talk about visiting his mom in Alaska and visiting his dad in Texas. And you'd see some of the channels where he actually went to Alaska and to see his mom, and he went to Texas and visited with his dad. I think his dad's not well, so he visited with him for a while. And but like I said, he had a personal side, and he could have done most anything he wanted to, really. But he had a dream. He was I understand, a helicopter mechanic in the Army. He could work on helicopters, and so, you know, the bad part is that when he took sick and he was at the hospital, and he should have stayed. I know he should have stayed, but he felt like he needed to go home. And maybe the reason he did, because he lost his health insurance, and maybe he shouldn't have left home. But and then they say he was disorientated. But I really, truly don't believe that he wandered into the lake alone. Hobo had some enemies, and I'm not accusing anybody, but just people out there after his money and after his way of life, wanting to mimic what he did. And so I don't really think you know, he wandered out alone, but I think the autopsy is going to show exactly what happened. Anyway, Hobo, you're going to be missed. And if his videos remain on YouTube, as I hope they will, they'll be on there for a long time. And you never saw in his videos, you can always go back and reminisce and watch his videos and see how to live on the land. I mean, he lived off the land out there. But anyway, this is my tribute to Hobo. And God bless your soul. This is from Rob and Jana B from Rob's Trains. And regretfully, we hate to do this, but this is what it is, as they say. And my wife hates that expression. What it is, what it is. So y'all have a nice day. Hopefully you'll see the eclipse. I got to go out and putting in a new shed next to my old shed, and I have to do some more reconstruction out there today before it starts to rain again for a couple of days. And we'll catch you later, and like and subscribe if you will.